Usually with age, people slow down. After 20 plus years on tour, singles titles, double slams, world number one ranking, this 41-year-old just won the Cincinnati Masters last week. I guess old really can be gold. Rajeev Ram, welcome to the Changeover. Welcome to the Changeover Podcast. My name is Justin Roberts. Over there, I got my co-host Jody McGinley in Spain at the Rafa Academy this week coming up. Elephant in the room, that is a baby bed behind me. I don't know what you call that, even a crib. That is not my child. I am at my friend's house in Germany, Finn Meinecke. Shout out to their daughter, Vaiana Shikari. Yes, so that's what's going on there. That's nothing to do with me. Don't worry. Thank you to everybody who's been buying the hoodies and stuff, by the way. We had a listener from Australia, John Wotherspoon, which is absurd. We've had a lot of love in the US, UK, Europe, but to have somebody from the other side of the world, I don't even know how long it takes to get to Australia, but that's really cool.
It's going to be a month. Support. A month shipping.
Yeah, so good luck to get the hoodie. I don't know if you're going to get it on time, but we appreciate you supporting the show. And today, speaking of like babies and age, I guess life moves in cycles. Today we have an experienced gentleman on the podcast.
Well said.
He's seen it all. Rajeev Ram, thank you for joining us, man, and congrats on the Cincinnati title.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
So is age just a number? Like, how do you feel about it? What's going on?
I mean, yeah, obviously, look, it is just a number, but the feeling gets a little tougher as the number gets higher. I'm not going to lie, you know. Yeah. I think, like you said, I appreciate the wishes for Cincinnati. It was great. It's kind of my hometown event, 2 hours from where I grew up. Played there as a kid, but it's a lot easier at this point in my life to go and play in front of friends and family and familiar faces, and to get motivated to do that as opposed to jumping on a plane and going across the world to, you know, somewhere like Australia. Even though I love Australia, you know, going that far away and playing that's become a lot harder for sure. So, look, I think it is just a number, but it takes its toll, no question.
Old is gold. I saw that on the camera after you.
I came up with that on the spot. What do you think?
Really?
Not bad, huh?
Freestyling.
Freestyling, baby.
The old man got the rhymes. I like it. So you talked about playing in front of friends and family being easier. What is more difficult at your stage in your career and in life? Is it easier to keep the body or the mind and emotions going to keep going out there and competing?
Yeah, it's a good question. To be honest, I think it goes hand in hand, right? I mean, I think your body and your mind are so interconnected. For me, I feel like the tougher part nowadays has become sort of the mind and the competitiveness. I love to play. I love to, you know, I love everything about tennis, but, you know, when we go and try and compete at the highest level, it takes a lot emotionally to get myself in that state of mind to compete. And I think the more effort that takes, the more effort it takes on my body, and you feel the effects physically as well. But I do genuinely think it's all interconnected, and it all becomes harder as you get older, for sure. You know, there's other things that maybe you might want to do. There's the things you want to explore, and just to travel around the world. You know, this is gonna be my 21st year on tour, doing this over and over again. It's not easy, for sure.
What keeps you going though? Like, what is the thing that makes you want to get out of bed and pack the suitcase and go on the road for, I guess, however long you do these days? I guess it's less than it used to be, for sure.
It's for sure less than it used to be. I mean, like I said, I love to play. You know, it's all I've ever done. I've not known anything else. I've been really fortunate in my life that this is, you know, I've turned my passion into my job. I think very few people probably get to say that. So, you know, if it wasn't for the actual sport that I get to play or the thing that I'm doing, I certainly wouldn't be doing this anymore. It's that part of it. And I actually don't think I'll ever really stop playing tennis, even when I don't play it as my job. I think I'll still go out and enjoy having a hit. But, you know, that is the thing that keeps me wanting to do it, is I just genuinely love to play.
How much has your scheduling changed over the years? Because the reason why I ask, is because I trained with Horacio Zeballos earlier in the year, in preseason. And I was telling him that, yeah, it's my second year focusing on doubles, and I'm getting used to having to play so many weeks on the road. And then he said that he switched to doubles partly because he gets to play less weeks. And I guess if you're winning all the big tournaments, you don't have to play as many weeks on the road. So can you talk to us a little bit about your scheduling and how that's changed over the years?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great example of a guy who's, had amazing success after a great singles career in doubles. I kind of agree with him. It's sort of been the same thing, right? The travel has been less, and been fortunate enough to play, more of the bigger events and stay in them for longer as I've played doubles. I think the biggest change for me has been that, but also has been sort of how much I've reduced my time on court away from tournaments and being on the road. I play and practice a lot less now than I ever used to, more because I think it's helpful. I think I've played enough to where I don't lose the feel or the rhythm. And also it's just helpful to recover and save the body and the mind for when the competition is.
Are you saying doubles is easy? You don't have to
Not
practice
saying
anymore?
Stop it
Is
right
that
now.
what you're
Stop
saying?
that right now. You stop that right now.
I got to tell you, okay, listen. For someone that's obviously played both, just
Yeah.
like Horacio, I think obviously it's physically easier. I don't think anyone's gonna refute that. But I think there's portions of doubles that are mentally and emotionally more challenging, because you have to be aware enough that you may not actually hit a ball or play a real point for a long time. And then the next point you play might be the most important point of the set. You better be aware and you better be able to produce. The other thing also is that you have to learn how to be a good teammate, right? I mean, like in tennis, we're individuals as singles players. You don't have to worry about anyone else. And in doubles, all of a sudden you have a guy or a girl next to you, and you have to be a good teammate, right? And that means listening and communicating and sharing and all that. Not easy for us tennis people who enjoy just kind of being by ourselves a lot.
So you've been on both sides. High level singles player, obviously, like top 60 in the world. You won 2 singles titles, and then been one in the world in doubles, won 4 slams, and still winning Masters 1000s. How do you view this like doubles guys versus singles guys thing? Like how, when you come up against singles guys and you play like a strictly doubles team, how different is the level, or like how different is the match in general? Like what are the differences, and how do you see the differences in level between the guys?
Yeah, I think it's really different. I think obviously, I mean, a great example is the last match we played in Cincy. We played Musetti and Sonego, 2 great singles players. I mean, I think the thing that the singles guys miss that the doubles guys have is the sort of communication and the teamwork and the reps and the preparation together, right? They obviously don't do it as much. They don't practice it. And I mean, I was one of those guys for a long time. I had decent skills that translated into doubles from singles, but didn't ever practice it, didn't ever really, dive fully in. So I think when you play a singles team, you're going to get some spectacular shots because of just the talent level and all that, and also maybe the physical level. But you also know you're potentially not going to get that, that teamwork at a level to where it's so difficult to deal with, which I think is the thing that makes the doubles guys tougher, in my opinion. When a doubles team is playing really well and they have it sort of, they're very sort of under control and executing a game plan, I find that to be tougher to deal with because, it is a team game after all.
How did you view the whole doubles should be taken out of the tour thing early in the year, like Opelka and Bopana going back and forth? There's a lot of banter about I guess the value of doubles for the ATP tour, and I guess tennis in general.
Yeah.
How did you see that?
So, I mean, I think there's a couple different things there, right? I mean, doubles has always been part of tennis. So I think if you just straight away take it off the tour, I think there's going to be a big void. I don't think that's going to be good for the game in the long haul. I do, however, understand the economical point of view that, there's guys battling that are 120, 130 in the world in singles, looking to try and make that breakthrough. Whereas there's guys, 40, 50, 60, whatever it is in doubles, making it maybe a better living than them while not bringing in as many, resources to the tour. I actually think that's a tour issue. I mean, I think it's not great marketing on their point of view. I think doubles, while it will never probably be the level of singles, and rightfully so, I still think there's a lot of untapped potential in where doubles could be in terms of its popularity. I mean, I think you've had so many great stories over the last few years that, I mean, are untouched. I mean, Mate Pavic won a Golden Slam in doubles last year. I mean, not in 1 year, but completed the Golden Slam, gold medal in all 4 majors after winning the French Open last year. How is that not a huge story in our sport? I mean, the guy literally did something that so few people have done, and you don't really hear about it, And so I think these kinds of things, that's only one example. There's many of them. If that was put on the front burner a little bit more, I think a lot of these things, the economics would improve.
Speaking of the economics, so you had the US Open mixed doubles. There was a new format this year, and the doubles team won.
Yeah.
Like I guess Irani had a singles days, much like I guess you did back in your time when she actually was on top of the game. But I think the last few years she's been strictly much more on the doubles, and then Vavasori, primarily I guess a doubles player. They
Mhm.
came out on top against people like Swiatek and Casper Ruud in the final, and
Mhm.
other really big names. What do you think about that? I guess change in format for the U.S. Open and how it affects the other players.
So I think, first of all, I think the USTA did a great job in trying to innovate or mixed doubles in this case, and put it during the fan week, make it a little bit more easy to watch and sort of front and center. I think that was great. I think where they went wrong, in my opinion, is instead of, they basically kicked all of the doubles players out. You couldn't enter with your doubles ranking. So I don't feel, tennis for me has always been about merit, right? Winning Grand Slams has been about merit, and it's not really about the money. It's not really, obviously it's a nice thing for sure, but the bottom line is if you win a Grand Slam, you feel like you beat the best players in the world. I don't think that happened in this situation. I don't think that happened. They did not beat the best doubles players in the world, or the best players that play that discipline.
Mhm.
So for me to hand out a Grand Slam trophy when you're not allowing some of the best, people in that specific competition to play is not right. If I would have fixed it, or if I would have been able to say something or do it again, I would have let people enter as they would. You can enter with your singles ranking, you can enter with your doubles ranking, and let whoever gets in and play for it. And I think that would have been a true test and worthy of a Grand Slam title.
It's an interesting conversation though, because like I was there those 2 days, and there were so many people, packed crowds. So I understand on one hand the argument that they're saying, that all of the singles players, played it, and they brought so many eyes to the sport, and so many people came out, and I think they sold tickets for mixed doubles, no? Because I think the grounds pass for qualies was free, so they sold tickets. So they probably did it great because there were so many people there. But then I don't know what the financial breakdown was. Did people besides the winner make money?
Yeah, they did. And I'm not arguing for a second that they didn't do it. They didn't do well to promote the game and to do all those things. I'm not arguing that for a second. However, what I'm saying is that I don't think you can still call it, a Grand Slam winner. That's the issue that I have with it, because I don't think that, as we're seeing, there was one true doubles team in there, to your point. And other than the final, which that very well could have been in straight sets because Vavasori served for the match, they didn't lose a set going, other than that. And for me, they kind of ran the table. And so they're not, they would have been a lot of other teams similar level to those people that weren't let in the draw. I'm not saying by any means that they did a poor job. I think they did a great job for marketing the sport itself.
Yeah.
I just don't know that you can say it's a Grand Slam title because of that reason.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. Let me flip it around. And this is a crazy thing, but I did think of this. What if we had a singles tournament where we only let people enter with their doubles ranking? That's crazy. It'll never happen. And I understand how nuts that is, because it would reduce the economics by 1,000% and all that. But you still wouldn't call it anything. It would just be a bunch of doubles guys playing singles. It would be ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
But for me, to win a Grand Slam, it means that you've beaten the best.
Yeah, I just think that for the structure of like professional doubles, I guess is probably not ideal. Like maybe they financially they did great, but then that actually went to one doubles team compared to in the past years, how many doubles teams would have played mixed doubles and benefited financially, especially looking at like doubles players don't make that much money anyway, so they look to the slams to like try and get a nice chunk, and then now that's just been taken away. So So I don't know what the answer is. Like, I don't know if there needs to be a little bit more of a balance between like the wild cards and more opportunities for the doubles specific players to come in with their doubles ranking and gain entry. So
yeah, I mean, I think one thing is you can just make the draw bigger, which I believe that if I had to guess, I think they would have probably preferred to do that had they seen or had they known how much interest it was going to garner,
I think then those singles players won't play then.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But the other thing I will say to the USTA's credit is they basically took last year's mixed doubles prize money and put it into the doubles. So for this year's doubles tournament at the US Open, we are competing for a lot more money than we have in the past because we got, they gave the regular increase that they always do at the slams, plus the additional money for men and women that we would have competed for in the mixed doubles. So credit to them for doing that.
Take that back, what I just said. See, this is why everyone should have a microphone. Yeah. I am so sorry.
Credit to them for making that concession, realizing how many doubles players wouldn't get to play mixed. And so, like I said, look, they did a lot of things well in this situation. They really did. I do believe that. I just have the one issue with it. But a lot of things they did very well.
Yeah, did you see the funny exchange with Pegula and Draper at the press conference?
No,
he kind of called it an exhibition, and
she stopped.
And she was like, you shouldn't say that, and she kept laughing. He didn't understand what was going on. He kept saying it, and it's like, that's the problem. Like,
I think he went on full defense. I think he knew right away that he probably shouldn't have said that. He went on full defense. Then he went to I love winning.
Yeah. He didn't mean to say that, but you're not getting Alcaraz's, like, he's not dying for it. Like, he doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the same as guys really trying to win it. Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not the same. And I think everybody knew it. It wasn't the same,
Yeah.
We at the Changeover Podcast are proud to share a platform with players across all levels. What you can do to help is liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and ring the notification bell. Thanks so much and enjoy the rest of the episode.
You had a little of you weren't in the draw, but when a team withdrew, John Wertheim put in a plead for you to be put into the draw with, I'm not sure who it was, but he tweeted something out, and then a compatriot of yours, Mardy Fish, a retired player who had a great career, commented, and he said, how about we put like a real tennis player? How about we nominate a real tennis player to go in? So I found that to be strange and shocking, as I'm sure many people did. Can you give us a little bit of insight into the relationship between you and Mardy Fish and why he might have said something like that about you, a well-respected tennis player, I would say? And
I appreciate.
I would say, not that my opinion matters at all, but that's what I would say.
Everyone's opinion.
I respect you. I respect you. Yes.
Nah. It is really strange, as you said. I mean, the guy that and rightfully so, positioned and put himself as the mental health advocate is taking shots at another player, as you said, a compatriot from behind a keyboard. I mean, no matter what I might think personally about somebody, I mean, I could never see myself, doing that, in a million years to be feeling that way. I mean, I hope he's okay. I don't think he is okay if he's doing that kind of thing, but I hope he finds a way to get better from that. But I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, our relationship, we had one for sure at one point. I mean, he's actually somebody I looked up to for a really long time. He's a couple years older than me. I remember seeing him like all the way from junior tennis, and he had, as you said, had a great career. Was a top 10 player. Was our Davis Cup captain for a while, and we haven't spoken to each other in 3 years since since 2022, and so I don't really have much more to say other than it is a super strange thing, and not something that I think shows that he's doing that well.
So sort of out of left field for you, like you didn't.
Oh, completely.
Oh, okay, so that's super strange.
Last time I genuinely spoke to him was like summer, fall of 22. So that was 3 years ago.
So you didn't feel like answering back in the comments?
Yeah. I was pretty happy to sit that one out.
So not necessarily about him, but in that sort of exchange, you see that. Is it like it makes you upset, or is it like you laugh it off, or is it just genuine confusion and you're like, well, All the best.
I would
Prayers
say I felt shocked. I felt shocked
okay.
that this is what I saw. Because I mean, John's a good friend of mine. I follow him on social media, and obviously I saw that, which I appreciated him saying. For whatever reason he said it, I did appreciate it. And then I saw the next comment was from Mardy, and I was just like, first it was a bit of confusion. I'm like, is he talking about me? Like, is that real, or is this something else? And yeah, it was a bit of confusion, a bit of shock, and then it just sort of passed from there. And I thought about it a bit and just thought he must be in a pretty tough spot if he's resorting to doing stuff like that.
Well, all the best to everybody involved. But I do love beef, right? So I'm in my room last night, and I get a text from my good friend Jody here, and he's telling me that he's having a full-blown argument with his doubles partner and his doubles partner's coach. So it's Jody Clement Chidekh, he played US Open qualies last week. He's top 2 something in singles, and his coach is Matt Enger.
Oh yeah, Matt's a lovely guy.
So you know who Matt Enger is.
I do.
I'm scared now. I'm scared now.
So Jody texts me, and he says, "What do you do? It's doubles team. The server serves a serve wide.
Okay. Deuce court, ad court.
Deuce court, slice wide.
Yeah.
And he's asking me, what is the server's job to cover? Is it
serving a volley?
Do you cover middle? He's serving a volley. Is he covering middle or wide? Chidekh? Well, no. Your thoughts first, and then we can.
My thoughts. Okay, so a couple of questions. So like you're talking about regular position. You're starting in regular position. Server serves wide. And the question is, what is the server supposed to cover?
Yeah. Who moves where?
I mean, ultimately, you sort of follow the path of the ball. So if the serve is wide, the net player, the server's partner, goes a little bit to the left, and the server covers a little bit more of the middle than he would had it been a T-serve.
Our respect for you has just grown even more.
Clem,
I don't know what the guy's talking about. I don't know what the guy's talking about.
Another word from you, Clem. Another word. No, because let me tell you what we've been arguing. And to show you how much we've been arguing, I've been drawing. Last night, I have
you got ropes out. You got it all diagrammed out, or what?
You think I'm kidding? And I said, this is what Clem wants me to do. because bro, he's telling me that the server is behind. Obviously, if I'm serving, I'm going to be behind the volume. So he's saying that he is supposed to cover the line and the middle. So he's Superman all of a sudden. He can cover everything. And then I'm coming in behind. So
and he's 5'9". Like he can't get there. Come on.
And if the ball passes the server, the first volley, then I can see that it's passing the first volley and make it. But my priority should be to cover the angle cross. I said, bro, how often do you get beat angle cross on a slice out wide? Like you hit a bad serve and maybe they catch like the outside of the ball, like, And then I started calling people, bro. Sorry, go on.
Oh, okay, here's another take. I said that's pretty tough. Here's another take on that. If you are getting beat angle with an angle return off of that serve, your serve probably wasn't good enough. The serve is probably the problem.
Much. And then
someone's got to go hit that serve a little bit better.
And then we started talking about, not me and him, because I argued with him and he wasn't giving in, whatever. And then I started talking with my coach about like return position. So if the returner is far back, like let's say it's a singles player that stands far back, they're going to have even more angle. Because if I slice wide, they're going to have angle to dip it cross angle. So in that situation, I understand that if you, like, I don't know, if you're scared or whatever, then you want to, I don't know. But if they're up close, then the returner can't bend the ball back in down the line, So maybe the middle person, the net person doesn't have to guide so much down the line. Maybe they can stay a little bit more central. But like overall, I think the way I see it is you try to cover as much of the court as possible. And if you want to leave that little corner of the court as my diagram, that's too good. Right here.
Yeah, I agree.
Beat me right there.
I mean, it's all about
beat me right here. It's all
about where the ball is going to pass. Yeah, exactly. It's all about where the ball is going to pass the net, right? I mean, if he's way out, as you said, if you hit a decent wide serve and he's quite far out of the court, let's say outside the doubles alley, even if he hits it cross court, it's going to have to pass like a little through the middle. So, there's no reason for anybody to cover the short angle. But if he hits it down the line, like it's not going to have to be a true down line. It can kind of come from outside in. So the net player has a little bit more responsibility. I'm not a big advocate of covering the line because I feel like you should get beat through. If you're going to get beat, you get beat through the alley. But in that situation, the ball may not even come through the alley and beat you in the alley, right? So you have to respect it a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I love it.
Voice of reason, right here.
more?
You heard it here first. I don't have any more controversial. Not is that even controversial? That's the only first time I've ever heard that one. But with all respect to Matt Angle, by the way,
pretty cut and dry, I would say, Chidekh. I lost some respect for the tennis brain there.
You know what? Last night I started calling people. I called Evan King. He didn't answer. I called Rob Galloway. He didn't answer. But then he texted me, said the same thing. And then I called Nadavasov. He didn't answer, but then he called me back. But at that point, I was already going to sleep.
People they don't like you or what?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you got to get some better friends there, dude. Some people pick up the phone.
No, because people hate a phone call. I realize you have to text them first and be like, warning, I'm about to hit you with this, you know? Cleve Harper told me he agreed with me. He answered. But, so, okay, can I nerd out a little bit on doubles? Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it. Let's go.
Okay, so let's start with the serve, right? So can you talk me through your mentality as a serving team? So are you serving to get your partner involved as much as possible? How often do you go for 3 points, aces? Do you serve according to the weakness of the opponent's return? Like, do you avoid angles? What I guess is your mentality in your system when you're serving?
So I think that's different for everyone, right? For me, my serve has been something I've relied on for a long time. It's one of my strengths in my game. So for me, I feel like I would rather take my chances with it, right? So I'm not looking to set up my partner necessarily. I'm not looking to play for a certain position. I'm looking to win the point off my serve. I'm looking to hit the first serve and the ball to not come back. So that means hit spots, go for my serve, go, as big as I can. Obviously mix it up and do all those things, but I'm not really looking like too far past the serve itself. A lot of the, some guys like to prefer maybe like 75% in with 75% win. I look at more like I want to be more like at 60 to 65 in, because that means I'm really going for it, but like 80 to 85% win, because I feel like it also sets the tone better for the way that I want to play. I want to make my opponent feel like when I'm serving, they're lucky to sort of get it back and get in the point, because I feel like the number of points you win might actually equate to the same, but the feeling you get, when you feel like you're not really making a headway on someone's serve, because I've been there on the other side, is pretty terrible. So for me personally, I'm not really looking at anything else other than I want to hit my spots, I want to mix it up, and I want to try and make the ball not come back.
So what happens then in a situation where you're going for it and the percentage drops, like you said? Does that change anything with the second serve? And what's the mentality then on the seconds?
Yeah, so like if I miss 2 or 3 in a row, then I'm maybe not like first serves. I mean, maybe I would try to hit one into the body. I still want to go aggressive with it. I still want to hit it big and physically, but maybe I bring in the targets a little bit to get the rhythm, right? I've always also felt the same way about my second serve. If I better be going for my second serve. Maybe it's not going to be quite the same where the ball doesn't come back, but I still want to have a pretty significant advantage in the point, even if it's a second serve of mine. Again, it's not always equates to more points won, but it equates to a feeling of their opponent feeling like they're really under pressure when I'm serving. So yeah, okay. and it's one of the things we practice the most is serving under pressure, serving to spots, serving, big. It's a big part of, the whole makeup.
And then when you call plays for your partner to move or stay and stuff, do you do that according to, I guess, what is the somewhat of a rule for projecting where the ball is going to go? So if you're serving body backhand to someone, are you projecting that the easiest return for them is to pull it across their body, and the same with the forehand across their body? Or does that depend on the person? Is there what goes through your mind in those when you're calling plays?
Yeah, like that for sure is a kind of a general rule that it's easier to pull the ball as opposed to hit it off. So body backhand, it'd be easier to hit cross, or if they're a deuce court player down the line, and forehand body the same way. So that's one thing. I think it also depends on the player. I think it also depends a little bit on the surface and the condition. If it's a slower court, maybe you would try and adjust that a little bit. So for example, if I'm serving tee in the deuce court, it's a little slower court. Maybe I'd be more likely to cover left because maybe the returner can get around the outside of the ball a little bit more and hit that shot. If it's a super fast court, I feel like that's really tough. So I would make my partner go right if it's from I formation a bit more. But I think so much of that is really mixing it up to keep your opponent off guard and off balance, so they don't feel like they really got a good handle on what's happening.
Okay. Last question two more questions actually about serving. So if you find yourself in a rhythm on a specific serve, let's say you're going deuce side down the tee and you've hit it, boom, 15 love, and then whatever happens on the ad court happens. You go there again, 30-15. Like, how often are you going to beat that same drama until you do something different or you mix it up? Or are you mixing right from the start?
Yeah, that's another good question. I mean, I probably feel like I want to make sure I have that serve in the locker for a big point. So I'm not going to go there every time, but if I'm really feeling it, if I'm feeling like I'm winning a real high majority of the points, I'm going to go there quite a bit. I would probably throw in the odd, like, wide serve from the same position, just to spice it up a little.
I have this one too.
Yeah,
I have this one, but I have this one too.
Yeah, but I know that in a big point, if I'm feeling that serve, especially if it's the tee serve, the one that brings the ball towards the middle of the court in doubles, which does get my partner potentially involved a bit easier, I'm going to hit it on a big point.
Okay, and then lastly on serving, how important is I formation, and when do you decide when to play I formation or when to play regular or just regular switches and stuff?
Yeah, sometimes a lot of the guys prefer serving from the middle of the court. I mean, I played singles for a long time, so I actually do prefer probably serving from the middle of the court better. Sometimes it's surface dependent, but also sometimes it's opponent dependent. I feel like, if you have a great returner on the other side, especially on second serve, I think the chances of them catching a return and hitting it by you is better on I, whereas on regular formation, you cover the court a little bit better as a serving team. So, if it's a great returner on the other side or someone who's feeling, quite good, I would probably switch to play more regular, just because I feel like, yeah, you're going to have to play a volley probably, but at least it's not going to just go whizzing by you. So I think it's dependent a lot on the,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was going to say, what's funny is you're describing, as someone who's like at the top of the game, you're describing if someone's a really good returner, you don't go I. And in the futures and sometimes in the challenges, I say that if the returner is a really bad returner, don't go I, because it's too easy for them to hit like a lucky shank or lucky miss hit that goes over the guy's switching or whatever. Like, I prefer to just try and make someone, this is the space that the net person is not at. Good luck trying and hit that. And then if they hit it, I'm there to cover it. And if not, the net person will put it away.
I'm not saying, look, I'm not saying that my way is the only way, right? I just I've had a bit of success thinking about, like, for example, okay, my partner currently, Nikola Mektic, I've played him in I don't know how many big matches, too many that I'd want to remember, because he got me a lot of times. But like, he was a guy
technique crazy, by
the way. A lot of technique is crazy, but man, he gets it done. His resume will tell you that it's not so crazy, right?
He's a joke, but I just watching, I was like, what is going on there? But
yeah, but against a guy like him, obviously I played 6 years with Joe. We played him and Pavic especially quite a lot, and we played a lot of regular to Mektic, because it just felt like every time we went he got it around the guy, and then as a server you had to run further to get it, put us in a way worse position. Whereas out of regular, at least you're like, okay, I'm going to have to hit a first volley, but I'm in a much better position once that's over to defend the point after that. Because when the guy was feeling his return, it was like, no matter what serve anyone's going to hit, he's going to, feel like he's going to put it at your toes or make the return. So he's a good example of a guy that we played a lot of a regular against, because he was such a good returner.
Okay.
And you have something else, Jody?
Oh, I have a lot more. That was just serving.
Oh, because I just wanted to say, I'm not gonna lie and sit here act like I watch all the doubles matches that you play, but the final, I thought you hit some unreal returns. Like, we're talking about a lot of serving, but I thought that you hit some unreal returns in some big moments there. Like,
can you just wait? Can you just wait for me to just get to that part of the class?
Just trying to show some love and respect,
Class, please be quiet when the class is in session. So
it's
now
your
we're
turn. Go crazy.
We're gonna talk about returning. Okay. So let's start with this. So what decides which side a person returns on typically? How do people normally decide that? What kind of goes into play there?
Yeah, I mean, I played both. I think one thing people sort of neglect a lot of times is where you prefer to hit a second shot and where you prefer to poach from as a volleyer, right? It's not just the return. It's like when your partner hits a return, how effective can you be? Are you more comfortable poaching with your forehand or your backhand or sort of getting involved? Are you more comfortable hitting a second shot a certain way? I've always felt like, in general, this is a very general statement, but maybe the more solid returner would play the ad court, and the more maybe creative, athletic, person with a little more variety plays the deuce court. Because like if you lob over the net player in the deuce court, if you're playing a righty, it's generally over that person's backhand. So it's, I just feel like the deuce court player, if they're a little bit more athletic, let's say, your deuce court player is right-handed, then you just sort of have, I don't know, a little bit of something to start the games with that can be a little intimidating. Whereas the ad court person, if they're a solid returner, a lot of the bigger points, a lot of the pressure points, especially in the majors when we don't play sudden death deuce, happen on the ad side. So you'd want that setup to happen on the big points as opposed to maybe the other way around. Also, I feel like if it's a righty lefty combination, the righty would go in the ad and the lefty would go in the deuce because you have your forehands in the middle. I think that's another thing.
Okay, and then this is something that you don't see very much down the lower levels of the challenges. And I actually tried it today, like in training, and we did horrendous at it. I don't think we won 1 point at it. But like Justin said, watching some of the videos about you, like just trying to do a little bit of research, I saw a lot of like two back returning, and if they go T, you would take a return, or the partner would take a return, whatever, and you guys would switch. So can you talk to us a little bit about that and tell us, I guess, one, the reason why? I mean, I have a theory, obviously, it's in my opinion, whatever. I have a theory. And then two, how hard was it for you to learn this? Because we tried it today and we were dog shit at it. So yeah, I'd just like to know a little bit more about that, please.
I mean, yeah, Joe and I just started doing it. I can't remember what year it was, but basically the issue was, for me, if I get stretched to my forehand, there was two things. One, I hit it a lot better, my forehand return, if I got stretched, if I just sort of kept going. And number two, I just wasn't fast enough to, like, even if I did hit a decent return, to stop and change directions and hit a running backhand, It was less important for him because, one, he's way faster than me, and so he was able to like hit the return and come back, but also he was running towards forehand, which gave him some more options. But it basically started like that. And then we kind of felt like, it kind of had been like 2 or 3 years since we started doing it. But in the beginning, it felt like, there was a bit of confusion on the other side. Like people didn't know what was happening. They didn't know who was where. And they just felt like, because of the movement, they just hit worse shots. The first volley wasn't as good. They were maybe unsure of, where they wanted to go, where the forehand is, where the backhand is all of a sudden. And we got some errors out of it. So we just kind of kept doing it. It was sort of like there was no negative, I guess, in it. It was more like, everything seemed to be better off. So just sort of kept doing it.
But so how long did it take to adjust though? Because I'll tell you what kept happening to us today. And we actually didn't do it well until the end of the set. And I think I missed a return or something when it was like I was about to do it well or something. But what kept happening is, if I'm on the ad side and they go stretch forehand, okay, it's pretty clear that I'm stretching to a forehand that we should probably switch. But if it goes like a little bit central and body forehand, then I'll go like a little bit this way. So my partner sees I'm taking a forehand, but I'm not like fully stretched. So he's getting ready to run. Yeah. And it happened 2 or 3 times where either he hit like a little bit body backhand and I'm across and now there's no one in the ad side, or I go body forehand and he's across and I'm still here, no one's in the do side. So like how do you time that? How do you judge that? And there was another time where I tried to communicate to him not to switch, but I said no as he was swinging. So then I distracted him. He was like, "What did you just say?" And I said, "I should not have said a word, bro. I'm so sorry." So yeah. How is that adjusting?
So I'll tell you, for us, like I said, for me, Joe is one of the best athletes I've ever seen, like on a tennis court. So like he would always just be like, "Look, you do what you do, and I'll adjust." So he's like, "If I see you switching, I'll just wait and go after you. If even if I hit the return and I see you switching, I'll go after you and I'll get the next ball," or whatever. So it was more of that. And then for me now, playing with a new partner that maybe isn't quite as used to it, if I hit the return, I'll just make sure I like hit it and say switch, and he'll hear me, and that's it. Like it's, so yeah, it doesn't mean we're going to get it right every time. No, for sure not. But we just try our best to get it right. And it's more of like making sure, as I think as the returner, you're the one that decides if you're switching or not, because ultimately you know what you're feeling up there, right?
Okay. But ultimately, again, the person who's not the returning partner, or whatever, stands a little bit central and a little bit forward, so that you're not next to each other bumping it, right? Like the returner's gonna switch behind.
Always the returner switches behind and the partner switches in front. That it has to happen, because otherwise you're gonna run into each other. Yeah.
I don't think we got one point today where we did it successfully and then we got the second ball. It was just a disaster. Like, for sure, because I never see it in challenges. Never, ever, ever. So then, and I just started challenges. Now, obviously, I would never have seen it in futures, but like, for sure, the other guys, because the first couple times it happened, we both like started moving and we're in the middle of the court and the ball's by us or something. And for sure, the other two guys are looking like, what the fuck is going on here?
What is
these
going
guys
on with
doing?
these two over here?
These guys are going out first round, 100%. Okay, last thing on returning. Justin, are you with us? You good?
Yeah, man, I'm locked in.
Okay, sorry. Last thing on return. So
Baby's okay back there?
Yeah, she's doing good. Don't worry.
The last thing on return is, Justin was saying, obviously complimenting the good returns, and I watched also those highlights as well. And what I noticed were a lot of returns, body returns, but not across the body. So you were taking like late backhand returns and going like on the same side of the body, like returning line or something. So how important is that to you as a returner? Is that something that people don't really talk about that often or practice, or is that something that you pay attention to?
You mean like hitting the return the opposite way off the body?
Yes.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously, like you just said, I mean, people are not stupid. They're going to figure out that it's easier to hit the return across the body if they serve. So, like, if it's backhand body, they would cover left for a righty, regardless of, which side they're playing. So, yeah, it's hugely important to be able to hit the return the opposite way. In that particular match, in the finals of Cincy, they started crossing. They weren't playing I, but they started crossing on me a lot when they would serve backhand body. So, like, Sonego would serve and Musetti would cross. They got me a couple times. Like, I hit some decent returns and they got me a couple times. So I just sort of, at that 1-3-0 point in the breaker, I was like, if I get this return in the backhand, I'm hitting it down. It doesn't even have to be good. I ended up hitting it out of the screws. Like, I didn't, obviously you can't plan for that, but like, I'm like, this ball is going down the line no matter what. Just so even if we lose the point, they're not feeling like they can just do that play successfully over and over again, right? So like, for me, it was a bit of awareness in that moment to say I've lost 2 or 3 points because I've hit good returns, but they've crossed. So this one has to go down the line, even if Musetti doesn't cross, just to have that in his mind that I'm not only going to hit the backhand return cross court, But I do feel like it's a super important thing to practice to hit the returns the opposite way, because most people will cover what is the easier shot.
Okay. Justin, you were saying something about a specific return.
That same when you're talking about that backhand line, like punched it like nasty one and give a good big come on.
Yeah.
The last two things would be, one, is there any...
That was the last one?
No, last two things. I'm nerding out, bro. We never have doubles guys on the podcast. Last person was Rob Galloway, and your phone died after 20 minutes. Not like, come on.
Yeah, I got my shit plugged in here. Don't worry about that. We're good.
Strategic.
No, Justin's phone is who died, bro. Justin's own. Justin was at the park at some tournament, and his phone died mid-episode, bro. He did not care about doubles at all. So, are there any... is there anything that's overlooked for doubles players, like something that people wouldn't expect? Because a lot of people talk about doubles and they practice this like reaction volley drills at the net and stuff, but what's most important to you for doubles, and is there anything that's overlooked?
Absolutely. Teamwork's the most important thing. Forget about throw all that other serve, return, volley, down the line, throw it all out the window. If you're not a good team and you don't play and win and lose and compete as a team, it doesn't matter how good your serve is. It doesn't matter how good your return is. You will, when it comes down to it, as most doubles matches do, they come down to sort of, a few points. I think even more so than singles. You will not win those points if you're not playing as a team. If flat out, I will take two guys that sort of can gel with each other and can help each other be in a better mental state, rather than two guys that are like super well trained and coached and hit all the right shots, but don't do that for each other. So like a big portion of it, I got so lucky to work with a guy named Louis Kaye, who is the kind of considered the doubles guru of, the world, really. He's employed by the British Tennis Federation. And because I played with a Brit, I got to spend a lot of time with him. And everyone talked about, he was going to talk about percentages and positioning and all that. Man, the first lesson we had, the first time we were on the court together, he talked about the performer. And he was like, this is all about you and Joe being together as a team, and you creating the kind of energy that will, in the biggest moments, make each other play the best. Had nothing to do with stand here, hit this kind of shot, technique, nothing. He's like, if you can't get that right, the rest of the stuff doesn't matter. And I truly believe that. I mean, we won so many matches because we did that better than most. And I'll tell you what, the last thing I'll say on that is we were good at it. The Bryan brothers were like the ultimate at it. I mean, these two guys are twins and played with each other forever. And I had these discussions with Bob. I was lucky enough to, he helped me a lot on this stuff. And he always talked about how you make the magic happen. And he was like, it's all about that. It's not about anything else. So, I mean, I think it's the most important thing. And I think it's super overlooked.
Okay, thank you. Justin, you may carry on with your podcast, sir.
No. Have you ever tried the partnership?
Guys on the phone over here,
No. I the mother of that child just called me, so I had to send a quick text. That was not to be rude. I apologize. But,
do you remember the last time? No, man, I'm not even gonna say it. Go on.
Located in South Florida, Access Tennis is in the ideal location for training and competition. There are groups available for all levels of players, from young juniors to top ITF, D1, and pro players like Jody and myself. Access had a big part in the development of players like Cooper Williams, Ben Wilworth, Liam Draxler, and more. Access also has UTR match play certification. Visit accesstennis.com/contact for more information.
I'm stringing up my racket using my Pro Stringer. I've had this machine for 4 or 5 years now. The Pro Stringer is a portable stringing machine. It's very durable. It's accurate. I never have any issues with the tension being incorrect and stuff. It's easy for me to know what to expect from the racket. And we at the Changeover actually have a partnership with Pro Stringer. So if you'd like to go and purchase one, you can go to the website and you get to save $100 off a brand new Pro Stringer when you use our discount code Changeover in the checkout. So if you're interested in a portable stringing device, I highly recommend this machine. Saves a lot of money in stringing fees. And like I said, I take it everywhere I go and string all of my rackets on this machine.
Have you ever tried a partnership where it was we don't eat dinner together, we don't do anything together, we just show up to the practice court and the match court?
I mean, not like nothing, but I mean, Joe and I played 6 years together. We didn't do much together off the tennis court. We kind of talked about it from the beginning. It's like, he's 8 years younger than I am. We were kind of in different stages of life, if you will. And, the idea for us was to build like something long-term. And I said, look, dude, I in my experience, it's been tough to have every breakfast together, have every dinner together, and then go play together and then practice together. And like, it becomes a lot. So we kind of on purpose tried to make that not happen so much. I wouldn't say we went as far as like doing nothing. That's not the case. We would do, things. We'd play golf together and all that, but like we did a lot less than some teams do, for sure. And I think that for me worked a bit better because I was actually looking forward to going on the court and practicing and playing these matches and whatnot.
So back to my podcast now. All right. So in my let's say formative years, there was a guy named Grigor Dimitrov. They call him Baby Fed because he did everything just like Roger Federer. When I see you play, I see Pete Sampras. The serve's the exact same, the forehand is the same, backhand is the same. Did you ever have a nickname growing up to do with Sampras or not?
Nah, really? I didn't. It only started a bit later that people started calling me Rampras, which I'm sure you probably heard before. But
that is funny.
No, not when I was young like that. I mean, Grigor had that from like the word.
Right, when people saw him, yeah.
Yeah.
So for your life, what do you think the importance of emulation is and was, and how did you get it done? It's like for me at a young age, it was YouTube. I would watch like slow motion videos of whoever we could find on YouTube, and then we had like little VHS tapes. So I would have like matches of. I remember Marcos Bagdatis' run to the final. I would rewatch those matches over and over, or like Rafa's first French Open. We had like 4 of those matches we would just always rewatch. So
Yeah,
what was
dude.
it like for you, and how did
I got this
you?
cabinet back here. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
see this. This
Uh-huh.
thing is full of VHS tapes from tennis in the like 80s. So
Okay.
like, yeah, I mean, it was the same thing, right? I mean, I didn't actually have a proper coach until I was about 12 years old, 12, 13 years old. So that's pretty late in the game considering I started tennis like when I don't remember like my first day of playing tennis.
Mm-hmm.
So I would play with my dad, and that was sort of our thing. We would do it together, and he wasn't a tennis player, he wasn't a tennis coach. We just did it for fun. And but like that was how I learned, right? I mean, and it was a real lot tougher back in those days. To your point, there was no YouTube, there was no internet. It was all about like had to record matches when they were on TV and go back and watch them. But you know, I was lucky to grow up in a generation when there was 4 or 5 or 6 great American male players that happened to be on TV all the time. And my dad was kind of like, well, geez, this guy seems awfully good. Why don't we try to play like him? And there was a few things that happened. Pete was a serve and volleyer, which I kind of naturally gravitated to. He had a one-handed backhand. Obviously, he was an incredible athlete, which at the time I didn't actually even realize because so many of his other strengths overshadowed what a great athlete he was. But like some of the other stuff, and I always liked his temperament. I mean, he was a very calm, like didn't show much emotion. So I could relate to a lot of those things. And I was like, I just wanted to play like him. And that's really how I learned to play tennis, was by watching and imitating.
And it took you to two titles on the singles tour, and then obviously the slams and number one in the world, as a doubles player. But you took a little bit of I would say a pivot at some point. You had the pro staff prestige days,
Yeah.
and then you went to the Babolat Aero,
Yeah.
like opposite racket.
Big
kind of.
change, right?
Can you compare and contrast those rackets and how they affect your ability to, I guess, produce certain shots?
I mean, honestly, I wish I had been a little more open to changing that earlier. I mean, that racket was around even from when I turned pro, the racket that I use now. And I always thought, like, I don't play that way. I can't control the ball. I can't, but I never even really gave it a fair shot, I had a dear friend of mine, Stephen Amritraj, and he coached me for like 18 months, and he kept on trying to get me to do it. And finally, one day I grabbed one of these yellow Babolat's and I hit with it. I'm like, this thing actually feels a lot like one of my old school rackets, but with like new school power and ability, right? And it took me about 4 days, and I just like, this is my racket. This is it. And that was like 12 years ago. I never thought about switching rackets again. So I think for me, it's actually not like on the top end. I think with one of those old rackets, whether it's a Wilson or a Head or whatever, if you hit it well, it's amazing. It's just so hard to hit it well. So
Street
this
spot
racket,
like this.
yeah, man, and this racket has allowed me to sort of not have to hit it as well, but still get something out of it. And I think with the way that tennis changed from when I was a kid to now, with poly strings especially, and how much more spin is being put on the ball, it doesn't go as linearly. Like people can hit it so much more with so much more rotation and up and down that it's just impossible to hit it in the center all the time. So for me, it allowed me to like play my style as best as I could, but with that extra forgiveness.
So there's been a lot of talk about this era versus the last era, but your career has you've been fortunate enough to see a few changes in tennis. As you said, growing up, you were trying to play like Sampras, and then by the time I guess you would have been doing well, I guess guys like Federer and Nadal started to do stuff with the ball that was way different. I guess the strings, everything changed.
Yeah.
So can you kind of talk about tennis in the 2000s versus the 2010s versus now what you're seeing on tour and what you're having to face with guys like Musetti and Sonego, like kind of like what the key differences were in your opinion in those sort of decades?
Yeah, I mean, I'll even go back a little further. I mean, obviously I grew up in the '90s watching these guys play, and like you would have so many different styles, and I think the surfaces were so different. And I personally like that a lot better. I loved seeing what a guy like, let's say, Sampras or Stefan Edberg, Boris Becker, these guys would do on a clay court, and then vice versa. What would Jim Courier and Andre Agassi do on a grass court? When the grass was a bit faster, and you had all these sort of variations, let's say. So what I saw growing up was players with many different styles that could work. You could have everybody from pure serve and volleyers to like, serve dominant serve and volleyers to, attacking baseliners to, almost like, counter punchers entirely. And then like it was like the rules changed in about 2001, 2 or 3 when all of a sudden we had Luxlon. We had this string that just made the ball go in no matter how so hard you swung at it. And it made coming to the net virtually impossible. And then I think you're seeing the effects of it still today where, people just aren't able to play attacking tennis like they used to. And it's for sure it's changed even in this century, let's say. I mean, I think when it first came out, you saw a lot more rotation on the ball. You saw a lot more net clearance, a lot more spin. And now I think you're going back to a little bit of a flatter game. One of the other big things I saw is back in the day, it was like if you were 6'4" and above, you were just automatically weren't probably able to move that well. And now it's like guys 6'7", 6'8" move unbelievable.
Freaks.
You watch Zverev and Medvedev and dude, even like Opelka or Pechi Pericard or these guys, I mean, they're giants and they're running around the court like no problem at all, which is crazy to think about from back in the day. I played this guy, one guy I played him, he's a great player, Sheng Schalken from the Netherlands. Unbelievable ball striker, all that, but like he was a big dude and he just didn't move that well. It's like that doesn't happen nowadays. So like I think you're seeing a lot of the changes like that. But one other thing I will say, last thing on this topic, is that people just say automatically that the athletes are so much better now. I actually don't necessarily know that I agree with that, because if you watched Rafter, Sampras, and Becker cover the net back in the day, yeah, the ball wasn't going as fast, but the things that they were able to do in terms of like being an attacking forward coming player, covering the net, covering the overhead, all that, I mean, it's out of this world what they can do. So yeah, the athleticism is crazy now, what they can do, running and sliding, all that. But what players did back in the day covering the net was also pretty spectacular.
It's so funny to me. It's like I think all sports is kind of like when this guy had to break that 4-minute mile. It's like you see something and everybody can do it. It's like nowadays, like you're talking about the height over the net and the spin that changing. Like these days, I'm seeing like the second serve as a kick to the backhand is becoming like not a great play. Like everybody can step in and rip the shot at the backhand return. Like
you're playing a half volley from the baseline on the next
crazy.
ball.
Like I was practicing with Singh. It's like a guy 100 in the world from Taipei. He's got to be 5'7". I'm hitting a kick second serve to his backhand. He's hitting the thing down onto my toe, like 89 miles an hour, like fast. Like you have to serve like more slice, like forehand, body. Like the kick can be a mix, I think, but like it used to be a primary second serve, but now it's like, man, if you're not hitting it right into the chest or like right hip, it's like guys have unbelievable 200 backhands now. So I think everything is like, it's like
Justin, you don't have
once
to
people can see it and they see what works.
You don't have to lie about the guy's height to make yourself feel good, bro. It's okay. Just hit a better kick.
Bro, what do you mean lying? But the man was small, bro. But the man hit the shot of the ball. Anyway, fuck. We have like not much time left. One last topic. Obviously, you spent a couple of years on the ATP Player Council, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And you see the PTPA having the lawsuit now with the ATP, WTA, slams. In your time on the council, what did you feel the issue was for tennis? Like, were there just too many stakeholders involved that it's very difficult to get one forward direction? And like, what were you trying to fight for with your, I guess, voice on that panel?
Man, I learned so much from my 2 years on tour. Yeah, I'd been on tour for like 15 years at that point. I felt like I didn't know anything going to that. So my main issues with it were, there's too many cooks in the kitchen, let's say, not one sort of primary governing body. And also, I think tennis is so global that it almost hurts us. Like, if you want to compare it to golf, I mean, golf has the PGA Tour, which is basically North America, but then they have the Asian Tour, they have the European Tour, they have the DP World Tours. They have all these other tours that people can play on where they can really highlight those players and make it great. Whereas we just have one tour where the same people, I guess, run around the whole world, which is tough enough as itself, but that was way above my pay grade. I mean, the biggest thing I fought for at that time was one of the things I think I struggle with on tour is the inequality of practice time. I feel like you go show up at these big events and you're struggling as like a lower ranked singles player or a doubles player to even get any on-site time. Whereas some of the best players in the world, they get like 2-3 hours by themselves with their coach. I mean, they're playing soccer tennis on the court. They're not even playing tennis, you know, and we're out there 4 on a court for half an hour hustling, right?
I saw that just this week at US Open. I was sitting at lunch and I was sitting with a player and the coach said, yeah, it was raining all day on the second day of qualies and they tried to go get an indoor court and they said, no, the indoor courts are just for players warming up for their matches. Because at this point, on the second day, they actually did get to start the matches early, but they got cancelled. But like at that time, they said it's just able to just practice time only for people who warm up for matches. And as they were walking out, it was like, I don't know, like some like Djokovic or something, a whole group. Now, one of the stars walking into practice, like, I thought you told me 5 seconds ago that it was just for, you know, so, and that's probably not fair. Like if everyone, with respect to them, obviously they're great for the sport and stuff, but if everyone is playing in a tennis tournament, then there shouldn't be some people allowed to practice more than other people and that sort of stuff. In my opinion, like it's unfair.
Yeah. So like my big fight was, to your point, those guys and girls are super valuable to the sport. They, you know, are the reason it goes forward. I don't disagree with any of that. So let them have their time. Let them have priority, but just make it so where everybody else is like guaranteed some kind of spot. Because what doesn't need to happen is they book 3 hours and they show up for 1, or they book 2 hours and they're not playing tennis for a few of it because they're playing something else. They're whatever it might be, soccer, tennis, doing fitness shows, whatever it might be. Like, we got to get rid of that, man. We got to get rid of that so that players can actually have, you know, some time on the court. It doesn't matter. 7 a.m. Fine. We'll do it. No problem. But just like give us an opportunity. Whereas you call a lot of these places and like on-site court, they're like, nope, try again. Nope, try again. No, it never happens. First time you play on site, maybe the warm up for your match, you know? So like that kind of stuff was a really big thing for me to just level the playing field a little bit. You know, these guys are already better than we are, right? So like, how is anyone supposed to win if they can't even, you know?
Help.
Yeah.
You know what I cannot promise will be fair, but what will be definitely fun is the tennis trivia.
This Wi-Fi has been so bad. So bad. Let me just start by saying that before we start this quiz.
We are at 1 hour, so I want to respect your time here. So let's get into this quiz.
Okay.
And Jody's copping please early about Wi-Fi. Like, bro, just lock it in, bro. Just lock it in. So we're gonna play first to 3 correct answers.
Okay.
Right? I'm gonna read the question out. Whenever you think you know the answer, you can shout it out. I could be halfway through the question, you can shout it out. If you are wrong, Jody gets to rebut.
Okay.
If you guys are both wrong twice, we're going to the next question. We scrap that one.
Dang.
And we're going to go first to 3 correct answers.
Okay. All right.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Jody, how's all right. Question number 1, as always. Who am I? Career high, number 19. 3 ATP singles titles. Turned pro in 1998. Smooth two-handed backhand from Belgium.
Xavier Malisse.
Yes, sir. Jody, Wi-Fi?
No, I heard all of it. I heard it all.
All right, sick. 1-0, Ram. Rampras. Question number 2. At what scoreline did Sinner retire against Alcaraz in the final of Cincinnati?
5-love.
Shit.
Oh my gosh, this is looking like a nice 3-0
I wasn't sure about
shake
that
hands.
one. I thought that
Get
was it,
out
but I
of
wasn't
here.
sure.
Oh, this is my favorite part of the week right here, boy. Question number 3. If 1 cup of flour equals 120 grams, how many cups of flour are equal to 600 grams?
5.
God damn it. Now
Like,
Justin's
that one?
Wi-Fi is gone.
No. I'm just relishing in it. I'm enjoying it. I'm just enjoying the moment, soaking it all in. Pause.
I just want to
wonderful.
take this time to say, Rajeev, thank you so much for joining us and teaching us all about doubles today. I appreciate it, bro. And congratulations on yet another win.
Teaching about cups of flour too, apparently.
Yes, man. He's a baker,
Teach me
bro. He's
about
getting
cooking.
it done. Getting it done.
Man. You guys are awesome.
This is a lot of fun, man.
Yeah,
thank
guys
you.
are awesome. Thanks for doing this.
as we like
Thank
to
you so
do,
much.
we like to.
And shout out Nishesh, by the way. Shout out Nishesh for he
Big
saw
up
me
Nishesh
in
Basavareddy.
Bloomfield, and he asked me. He said if you guys were interested in having Rajeev on. I said absolutely, bro. Of course. So shout out to Nishesh for the heads up.
It's always cool to have the elder statesman on the podcast. Like when we had Milos Raonic on,
Nice.
there's so much experience and knowledge and just a perspective you can't get from a 25-year-old. You know what I mean? Like you're just seeing so much, and we appreciate you taking the time out to
Cheers, man.
I guess share that with us.
Thanks for having me.
And as we always do, begging for guests, we'd like to know who you think would be a great guest on this podcast. Who would you want to see us speak to?
Oh, man. So if we're going elder statesman, we'll go on that theme. The newly inducted Bryan Bros into the Hall of Fame. If we can get them on here, that would be pretty sick, right? They're
I would
actually
love that.
today. I believe their induction ceremony is today.
Oh, really?
Very well deserved spot in tennis history at the Hall of Fame in Newport. Bob's the Davis Cup captain. Just, you can talk about seeing it all, done it all. Two brothers doing it together. That would be pretty cool to get them on.
That'd be unreal.
That'd be sick, yeah. And congrats to them. This is going to drop tomorrow, so just in time. So congratulations to the Bryan Bros. Big inspiration, obviously, for a lot of people growing up. So, yeah, that's sick.
Shout out one more time to Miss Shikari. Her bed is here behind
That's
me. Big up Finn, Janicita for having me here in Germany. And yes, good luck at US Open, man.
Thanks,
and,
boys.
appreciate
Yeah,
you
be
taking
well
the
over
time.
there in Europe.
For
Thank
sure.
you so much.
Talk to y'all
Thank you,
soon.
man.